So welcome to the Node.js Next 10 meeting for January 6, 2021. We will follow the agenda that we have tagged in our the repo. That is issue number 38. And we have the first thing on our, I guess before we get started, does anybody have any announcements that they'd like to share? Okay, so the first thing on our agenda was the needs and wants of constituencies. That's number 20. Before the holiday season, we had a couple of brainstorming sessions where we worked on that, and I'll paste it in the chat, but we put together this PR, which includes the outcome of that. And I thought we'd just spend a few minutes talking about that, looking at that to confirm that we think that's good, as well as like next steps, because I think we probably want to figure out how to get some broader sort of confirmation that we've got that one right. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Okay, that's good. If we look at what's in there, I can bring it up and share it. Just view the file. Okay. So everybody should be able to see that there. What we ended up doing, because there seemed to be a fair amount of overlap, is pulling out the list of needs and then actually checking off which of the constituents we thought, were are the ones who needed that. So I don't know what's the best way to do this. Do we want to walk through each one? If people had a chance to review it already and are pretty comfortable with what we've got, what's kind of the best way to do this?
I would just do the bullet points below.
Okay. So just going like, look at each one of these and see like people are good with those.
Yeah, mostly the phrasing here, because we already did retro on this, right?
Yep. Yeah, but that's what, we sort of came out with this, and then this pulls together a number of things. So let me go back just so I can actually make suggestions if we have them as we go through. So that makes sense. Sound good to everybody else?
Yep.
Okay, so the first one is good understanding of the direction of the project. Understanding the work happening in the Node.js project, features to have to look forward to, roadmap changes, confidence to help the project upkeep, leadership, confidence in the project is well run and will continue to be maintained successful.
So the one thing here is, I think this is the only one with question marks. And I was just wondering if we could change those.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like we shouldn't have questions in here. That makes sense. I'm just going to take that whole thing out like that, right? I should have done a multi-line one, but okay. So how does that look? How did I not change that? There we go, okay.
Yeah, I think roadmap might be a different topic, so I'm fine removing that.
Yeah, I think yeah, I agree. Should be covered some other way. Does that look good then?
Yeah, I think the first one's really good.
Okay, so next one, ability to affect the direction of the project. Sees the table when big decisions are being made, ability to advocate for work that unblocks customers, a level playing field so that they can contribute on an equal basis, whether they're people and or organizations.
So we did have an request to start an RFC process land on Node's core as an issue, which kind of covers a similar thing to this. So maybe we could work on this a little more. So one of the big things that's being discussed is being at the table when big decisions are being made. A semi-consistent comment I see is people just want to create PRs kind of because they have lower visibility. And so it's not just a seat at the table when decisions are being made, but we need to actually help people find what decisions are being made, because some people are actively, myself included in the past, have tried to make PRs because they were lower noise than starting long discussion and reaching consensus that way.
Right, so that is kind of like surfacing, understanding the direction.
So this is under ability to affect the decision. So
Yeah.
you have a seat at the table when big decisions are being made, and knowing what decisions are being made is what I want to add somehow.
Right, yeah, okay. So, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I don't know if something like, here, let me.
I think it's more about the process overall, right? A process to surface big decisions and allow, access to those decisions of sorts.
Yeah.
If you do the suggestion, Michael, and you put that
Yep.
line there and then just add another line.
Yeah, that's what I was
often what I do.
I was just thinking where it should go. Like, do we want that right after the first one?
I think so, yeah. I would say that.
Okay, so. So I almost wonder if it goes first.
And for what it's worth, I also want to say that I totally agree that that should be something that we should be trying to do, and we have relatively failed at, despite I think people have tried. I think we have a lot more levers now to be able to do that, and my hope is that we'll be able to do that much more easily now, with how the foundation and our control over our own stuff is designed.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
definitely
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I definitely think this document will help any process that we do, just because when we are having these big decisions, we can kind of decide if it is a big decision, which historically has been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like tagging it with that or something can. So the ability to identify and participate in.
I would say critical, not big.
Or critical. Important decisions.
Important's fine. Yeah. Instead of in, do you just want to put when?
All right, which was the. When important decisions.
Participate. Oh no, that's fine. It was just a phrasing.
The ability to identify and participate when important decisions are being made.
One comment I have about the wording here is that it's making it so that the onus is on the person as opposed to the project. Like, I wonder if this could be worded in a way that the project is more responsible to make these decisions public, or I don't know how to phrase it exactly, but I feel like it should be flipped a little bit.
No, I agree with you there.
Does that mean we need to include notification in this of some kind? Because if we have like blog posts or something about upcoming things in the next, I don't know, however many months, that goes a little bit different from how we've done with PRs, but it seems reasonable for important decisions since they are generally only released on the LTS schedule.
Yeah, I'm like, I get where we're coming from, but it's my take is that, it's very much you need to put in the work versus being able to have other people tell you when you need to get involved.
I think part of putting in the work, though, or like for at least folks in this position, is like lowering the barrier to getting them to put in the work, is having them know and having them have access to it. And like for us, that's probably less of a problem because we spend a lot of time in Node and are invested in specific things, but other people might not be. And so this is a way to get them to either to the point where we are, or to like be able to strategically invest their time in the things that they care about.
Right. I'm just trying to find the right balance. Like, I totally agree that we can do more and improve on that. I just think that like there's a difference between saying, hey, like the suggestion already was like, hey, we're just going to tag the issue. That still requires somebody to go and query those tags and find them versus, hey, I just want to add myself to a mailing list and be told, right?
So is there a way for notifications to be sent out when things are tagged?
I don't know GitHub that well, but I'm not sure that you can say, send me something that was tagged with this.
I mean, you might be able to do it in your own like mailbox rules or something. I'm kind of thinking about this coming from the idea of a potential for an RFC process, and maybe that's beyond the scope here, but like, if there were something that were more of a big decision, could it be put on the blog? Not like it needs to be elaborated on in this big,
right.
But like, we're thinking about this, here's the issue number. You know what I mean? Like something simple, some simple way of surfacing these decisions.
So my only concern is if we make it simple, it's not going to be significantly different from just being notified about issue threads in the project. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's the, like, maybe we should try and not get into I think we could spend a lot of time talking about the solution.
Yeah,
here.
implementation detail, I think
Let's talk
here.
about, how we can categorize the need, which is, and then like how easily you make them satisfy that need, we can discuss separately.
So maybe we could, instead of have identify, we could have discover. It's a word you just used.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that somewhat implies not necessarily an entire onus on one party.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
And does that replace a seat at the table?
No, because you've got participate, so I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, it's.
I would say maybe remove and participate and have a seat at the table is different. I
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I know. I see where you're coming. Like, they're
Yeah.
two different needs.
And yeah, I think having it as simplified to and participate reduces the, I think, value of having a seat at the table.
Yeah, that makes it very clear.
Okay. Because yeah, we could say that people can do one.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that look good?
Can we have both be big or important, but not two different ones?
Important? Which do we prefer?
I like important.
Okay. Okay. And I guess I have to learn that I have to refresh. Any more comments, suggestions on that one?
My only concern is there may be misunderstanding about can contribute on an equal basis, because sizes of organizations and things.
Okay, so
I'm not trying to state an individual is less important than a large company, but I think it would be hard to equate them as equal.
so that they level playing so that they have equal opportunity to.
Yeah, that's a lot better than equal basis, because basis, to me at least, implies that they will be considered with equal weight.
Sure. So level playing field so that they have equal opportunity to contribute as other people and or organizations.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, any other ones there? No? Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is consumable APIs and docs. So APIs and docs which are simple to understand and use.
We should also put up to date in there.
Okay.
We do have a couple docs which I found last week which are broken in their examples.
Should we also add to have some, let's say, working example and not just one function? But I think Tierney, I'm sorry for the pronunciation.
No, you got it right. Totally got it right.
Okay, great. You were doing some stuff on the example repo with example on cloud serverless, Express, Fastify. I will publish some stuff tomorrow or before the end of the week. But I think it could be great also to improve, let's say, an easy step in for people to use Node in different use cases. And not just doing or just asking them to go to read the pure documentation, even if it's great. Sometimes it could be great to show how to implement Node.js with a Lambda, or I don't know which services, but something like that.
That is an interesting one in that, like, we have the Node add-on examples repo, which is exactly what you're describing, except just for native add-ons, where basically there's examples of how to do, use different aspects of the API.
Yeah, I saw this one, and I think it's the only one except the example one, which is pretty empty actually. So I don't know if it should be one repository with a lot of example or multiple one, depending on I don't know what.
That's a good point.
So example code which shows how to use the APIs?
Maybe not shows the API, but concrete use case.
So use cases for the APIs.
Yeah.
I guess that sounds a bit different to me than like code samples, or I'm just trying to think like, what would it look like? Not that we should specify the solution, but I kind of understand the, hey, I want to use this API, some code that shows me how. use cases makes me think like, well, why would I want to use this and where would I want to use it? It's like, well, if I don't know that I need to use it, maybe like, is that really a need?
So I think it's really just showing example code that solves a use case, not all the use cases.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
The other. Sorry, go ahead, Bradley.
Just a real world, like this is one of the reasons why this API exists. You can use it just like this. Because
so
you
example
can,
code
like,
for typical use cases
of at least a typical. I don't think we're going to have all the typical use cases. I've seen PHP docs and it's overwhelming.
Some of the typical use cases?
Yeah.
Or the most important use cases?
That gets into a value judgment that's rough. Like if you choose most important, like I don't know, for like streams or something, that's going to be like there's a lot of reasons you'd use streams, and which one is the most important ends up being a value judgment that's hard to like choose.
Yeah,
So,
true, but I don't know why. I'm not going to, like, in what context would people say, hey, that one's not important, let's not include it or something?
So
I would say,
go ahead, Joe.
sorry, no, go ahead, Trini. I'll say really quickly though, actually, Roy is waiting.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, I'll promote him.
The thing I was thinking of, at least when you said that, was like one of the things I don't know. I end up in the Node docs a lot when I'm doing like weird things that I don't do often. And there's usually like a sync method and async method, and then like often for that weird stuff, there's like two different things that are close enough together. That are like, I don't know which one of these I need to choose, and it turns out only one of them is correct. And so like that is a thing that maybe this would solve, is like having code is good, but also having some prose around that code, of like explaining what the code is doing or why it's doing it, or like having like language around that, just like a paragraph or something for that code sample, would potentially help address that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's still getting maybe into the implementation.
Yeah, right. And I guess the reason I'm saying it is because you were asking like because of the question you're asking around like what is the like, is this a needed thing? Like I think the implementation does end up mattering in that of like, what problem does this solve? Well, the implementation kind of helps answer that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, because it sounds like where we're going is like the API docs on one thing, but like I'm thinking it's not that we add a whole bunch of examples to the docs.
No,
it's more like there's a need beyond the docs, which will like naturally have some code examples or not. But to have more examples than you could reasonably fit into the docs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like happy with typical or important use cases or whatever, but
what if it was example code for one or more potential use cases of the APIs? I have it in the comments there, the chat as well, if that's helpful.
Okay, let me see if I can get the chat up here.
Oh, potential.
Oops, did I stop sharing? I did.
You did. That's okay.
Because yeah, once you share, the chat gets okay. Come on, drop that down. Give me the chat back.
Or I could just read it to you.
One or more. Yeah, I think actually we don't need to optimize this too much. It's just like, yeah, example code for one or more use cases.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Does that look good? Okay, predictable and stable releases. So predictable release schedule to be able to plan upgrades, compatibility and stability when possible across releases to minimize upgrade work, and stability across runtime versions.
No objections.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Sorry, go ahead.
That's a nit. Stability is capitalized.
Okay, sure. Well, might as well fix it. Okay, next one. Innovation is at a consumable pace. No, but innovation hot. Right balance between move fast and stability. Stability while still trying to get new things.
Stability need to be in quotes. I'm not sure. Are we saying something besides like non-change?
Nope. I think I don't. You're right that I don't see us using quotes too much anywhere else, right? So
Move fast is like an idiom, so I think quotes is fine.
okay. Did I not? Yeah, okay, fine. Anything more on that one?
Do we want to mention anything about deprecation in there? Because I guess innovation that becomes deprecated is there.
Yeah, that one might come under the predictable and stable releases.
I think that's limited to releases, though, really.
Yeah, they are somehow related, but so what would we add in terms of deprecation, or?
I mean, deprecation needs to be done at a consumable pace.
Maybe it's okay. So maybe it's like advance notice and time to prepare for deprecations.
I don't know about notice, but definitely time.
Okay, so let me just. Actually, here, I'm just gonna cancel. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Yep. Because part of the deprecation process, I think, is around giving people the heads up that's gonna. That something's gonna happen, right?
That seems fine to me.
Okay. Sound good to everybody?
You got an extra star asterisk.
Yes, thanks. Thank you, GitHub. Okay, any other ones on that one? Okay, let's move on to easy installation. So ability to easily install consume Node.js in different environments, which includes the raw OS, containers, cloud platforms. I guess that really shouldn't have a star there, should it? Should be indented. Does that make sense to people?
Yep.
Okay.
Did we ever talk about running multiple versions? I don't think it's a priority, honestly. But
Let me see. I don't think that's.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think we have that covered specifically.
I would leave it off for now.
Okay. I think that could kind of come under the easy installation as like, in terms of consuming in the different environments. If you want to consume multiple, I could see that being a subset of that. So easy issue reporting, resolution, and collaboration. A good path to report issues to the project, the ability to collaborate, contribute to the project to get them addressed, a clear understanding of how to interact with the Node.js project.
Good.
Good. Broad deployment platform support. I guess this one, deployment doesn't need to be starred. I mean, capitalized.
I think just time-wise, we should skip nits for now.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Okay, I'm just going to add that comment and we can move on. Any other comments on that one? Our platform support for deployment OS and processor architectures. And we did break that out into deployment and desktop platforms. Because the next one is broad desktop platform support. Any comments on those two?
No.
No. Okay, let's go on then. Consistent intuitive error handling.
Hold on, sorry, I was muted.
Yep.
My bad.
Okay.
The bullet under desktop platform support, this is absolutely a nit, but it should have a space after OS and Windows. Windows and Linux should be capitalized, and then it should be Mac OS, since OS X is not the branding anymore.
Space.
Yeah.
And with some Mac OS. So
Yeah,
Mac.
lowercase m. Sorry.
Okay, like that.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, any others on those?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, so consistent intuitive error handling. So error handling, traceability through tooling, long stack traces, system state reporting, etc.
I think it just needs to be split up.
So what do you mean split up?
Yeah, we got all these things.
Okay.
And it's basically a bullet list inside those parentheses.
Okay, so we want to just convert that to a bullet list.
Yeah.
That we could do.
And by long, I presume you're trying to say async stack traces.
Yep. Maybe full async stack traces.
Sure.
Does that look good?
Yeah, I think you can capitalize everything.
Here, like trace.
Yep.
Okay. Except I don't think etc.
No, I think it's a lowercase.
Yeah. Okay. Just gonna I wonder if we can get rid of this first bullet point even.
I don't think so, since those are all scoped.
No.
to
Okay.
error.
Okay. Anything more on that one? Okay, so the next one is runtime diagnostic tooling. So diagnostic tools, more diagnostic signals, monitoring tools, observability.
Can we clarify what more means?
Yeah, let's. So I think it's more like additional diagnostic signals beyond what we already have, but maybe that's.
I mean, that's inherent to any growth we have, though.
Yeah, so maybe.
Because are we talking about more diagnostic signals coming from core, or the ability to have users add diagnostic signals that could be interleaved through core?
I think it's possibly both.
If it's both, I would just put diagnostic signals as a general.
Okay. So yeah, why don't we just say, okay, so if we convert that to, because more doesn't really add anything there. Okay, so diagnostic tools, diagnostic signals, monitoring tools, and observability. Next one is development time diagnostic tooling. So this is debuggability and instrumentability.
So we do have logs as well, but I don't think we need to add that because we have HTTPS logging integration, we have Node debug, and all these other things, but
Right.
to add that.
Yeah, that certainly fits under actually both of them. Like, I don't think it would hurt to add in
observability since it's logged at runtime, I guess.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't
Okay.
think we need.
Relevant APIs in core. So I think we should take out 1, 2, 3. So actually, I'm thinking we should actually take this out because that's a specific example as opposed to.
Yeah, I think it falls under the next bullet point.
Right.
Gotta add suggestion.
Oh,
no.
Yeah, sorry, I can edit that. Oops. Okay, well. Relevant APIs in core. So APIs in key areas across in the different types of applications, across the different types of applications, client, web, cloud native, etc. APIs that can be used directly from core without intermediary dependencies.
I think you need to clarify what part of intermediary dependencies you're trying to solve for. Is it usability, security, etc.? Because I think inevitably there'll always be wrapper APIs.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if this is really just covered by the previous one.
Well, it's about the APIs being some form of usability. I'm not sure what.
Right, okay. So APIs that are complete enough. Is that the...
That seems fine.
Okay. Okay. Module dependency info and management. So more information and easier ways to gather information about the modules they depend on.
Yes.
Any other comments? No. The next one is ways to fund their work.
Are we trying to produce a process that they can fund through, or are we just trying to document?
This is just documenting the needs.
Well, for the ways, like what's our action here? Because stating ways to fund their work isn't really an action, or even something. Because
Yeah, okay.
one is
The ability,
like providing funding, providing a payment method, or it could be explaining ways that you can get funding, other things.
I think it's like the need is like it's channels through which they can fund their work, or
Yeah, so just not direct funding from the need isn't for the Node Foundation.
no.
Yeah.
Channels or I don't know what's the, if I cancel that one and we say, okay, yeah, let's say, so this one is,
I would just say can fund their work. No B, no 2.
that, or
Yeah.
that look good? So that at least clarifies then what ways to fund their work means. Okay, I'm just going to speed up a little bit since we're ability to assess impact of the changes they make. So tools to evaluate impact of updates they make on other packages applications.
Yep.
Okay, reasonable resources usage performance. So reasonable resource usage, CPU, memory, etc., and performance.
I don't think performance is quantifiable.
So
based on the previous bullet point.
I guess the first one is already covered by that maybe, right? Or reasonable throughput is the other.
Well, throughput's going to be based upon your resource usage.
Right, but you could be super slow. Like you could use no CPU and memory, but be super slow, but that's not good. So the throughput is kind of a separate metric.
Well,
almost, right?
That depends on what you consider resource usage. We have a diagnostic now. What is it? Event loop utilization. So that's a usage metric.
Right, but if that is like that being low is still good.
Well, reasonable resource usage doesn't mean it's always low. Like high utilization is reasonable usage. Low utilization would be bad usage, not reasonable.
Okay, I guess what I what I'm thinking is you can have reasonable resource usage, which is not low, not high, but still have bad throughput.
So you can change it to throughput, but I'm not sure what the throughput is.
Yeah, throughput. I was just thinking, because it's like there is that other dimension of, you know, it needs to be, you want it to use a reasonable amount of resources and still be reasonably fast. And I agree with the what does fast or performant mean is not easily defined.
I also think the word throughput is limiting to a specific set of use case. I could be wrong in this, but it's potentially limited to a specific set of use cases of Node that are not all encompassing.
So are we better off leaving it as performance, even though it's not?
I don't think performance is a goal for some of the smaller things that run on Raspberries and stuff like that.
I think performance would be like it will be performance for that target, right? Like if you're running something on a Raspberry Pi, you want it to be like, you know, you're running it on a Raspberry Pi and you want it to be performant there, not like unoptimized. I'm not arguing for, I don't know why I'm defending it, but like
the other thing is that this is not like, these are not necessary for everybody, right? I think like if we went back to, let me cancel out of that for a second. We go back to say who we said need that. So
yeah, we might be able to phrase it better.
Like view file.
I agree with that. Phrasing on that one could be improved.
Where do we put runtime? What is that one? That's, what's it called? Reasonable. Right, so up here, that should be, maybe that's an interesting one. Did I manage to miss it in? Yeah, I managed to miss it up here. Like it would certainly apply to like the ops teams, right? Whereas some other, like, I guess I'm just trying to get at it, wouldn't necessarily be a requirement for everybody.
I think most of the maintainers are not going to be necessarily in that, but other than that, I think pretty much everybody would like it.
Well, exactly, right? Like it's, so yeah, maybe we can, unless somebody has a good suggestion, we can leave it as it is. And if people come up with a good idea, they can PR in a change or something.
I'll try to PR in a change, but I don't like it and I don't have a better alternative yet.
Okay. So yeah, maybe if you can think about that and come up with something. I think like there's two different things there. We just need to explain maybe what they are better. Good security and CV practices in the project. So good management reporting of the updates for security issues and good process handling of CVs by the project.
The one thing we don't have is a scope or model for what security means for Node. But I think that's separate.
Yeah, I think that can kind of be under like, if that we think that's part of good management, that could be covered there, right?
Well, it's beyond management. It goes into implementation there. Like,
yeah, no, that's true.
If we just shell out for everything, that's going to be a security nightmare. But we could still have good management.
Yeah, so that's a separate.
I can try to.
Yeah, if you can think about how, like maybe that's a new one that we need to add in or something.
I think that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, better CV management in the ecosystem. Better ways to deal with reported vulnerabilities, better systems to keeping track of dependencies.
So I think keeping track of dependencies, we're missing just a comment on if a vulnerability is relevant to you.
Right, okay, so that's,
like, there are a lot of complaints on my packages on GitHub that are not actually relevant.
Right, yes.
I would just add relevancy in the parentheses.
Okay. That look good?
Good.
Okay. Okay, good CI infrastructure and experience in the project. So good user experience with CI, easier ways for collaborators to add, modify CI jobs, make it easier for collaborators to understand failures in the CI, and a reasonable build time.
Good.
Okay, supportive collaborators environment in the project, some more internal guides, more supportive collaborators, or supportive, not more, just supportive collaborators.
I think supportive collaborators might be a difficult topic because that implies in general you always support, and there's necessary tension where people will have conflicting ideas.
Yeah, I guess I see we're at time, so and I do have to have a hard stop, but maybe
just empathetic rather than supportive.
Sure, okay, that sounds reasonable.
Sympathetic.
Yeah, that works for
me. Not empathy, it's sympathy. Sorry.
He said sympathy, not empathy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like sympathetic, yeah.
Okay, so I do have a hard stop, so I'm gonna have to drop off. But if people could maybe look at the last two, comment on those. There's a few other things that I know people were going to go and comment on. If we could try and maybe do that in the next sort of few days to a week, and so we're set next week to the next time we get together. We have this landed and we can talk about next steps in terms of getting feedback. I think that would be great. So thanks for everybody's time, and we'll talk to you through GitHub, hopefully to sort of close on this, and in a couple weeks. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.